Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place that takes all that lawn care research you've been wading through, the articles, the forum arguments, even the chemical data sheets, and distills it down into, well, actionable wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom for a weed-free lawn.
Exactly. Because if you've ever poured sweat and effort into getting that perfect Bermuda lawn, that gorgeous summer green, only to watch it turn brown for winter, and then come spring it pops back up, but it's just riddled with those sickly light green patches. Ugh. You know how frustrating that is.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling when the Bermuda finally wakes up, but it's just surrounding all those weeds. It really feels like sabotage after all that work.
Right. So our mission today is simple. We're digging deep into the must-know, the absolutely critical info about fall and winter pre-emergent applications for Bermuda grass specifically.
We're aiming to give you that shortcut, really. The way to break that frustrating cycle so your lawn greens up cleanly next spring. And that whole process, believe it or not, starts right now in the fall.
Okay, let's unpack that term. Pre-emergent herbicide. Now, when people hear herbicide, they usually think weed killer, right? Spray it on, weed dies.
Yeah.
But this is different, fundamentally different from tackling weeds you can already see.
Completely different. That's the absolute key thing to grasp here. We're talking prevention, purely preventative. If you've got a weed staring back at you, this stuff won't touch it. That weed's already up and running.
So it's not killing existing plants.
Nope. Its job is way more subtle and actually pretty clever. What we're doing is laying down this invisible chemical barrier. Think of it like a microscopic shield right there in the top layer of the soil, just the top few millimeters.
An invisible shield.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. But how does a shield stop a tiny seed from sprouting? Is it literally just blocking it physically?
Yeah.
Or is something else going on?
Oh, it's much cooler than just blocking. When that weed seed starts to germinate, it sends out its first little root, or maybe its first shoot. As soon as that tiny part hits the chemical barrier we've put down, the pre-emergent basically interferes with its cells. It stops the cells from dividing properly.
Oh, okay. Like jamming the biological machinery.
Exactly. Think of it like hitting a self-destruct button right at the start. The seed just can't form the proper cells it needs to build a root system. And because that first root dies almost instantly.
And never even makes it out of the ground.
Precisely. And never breaks the soil surface and never sees the sun. That's the aha moment. The weed is stopped dead before it even becomes a visible problem.
Prevent the root, prevent the weed. Simple but powerful. Okay, that makes sense. So that leads us to the big question, timing. Why is fall the critical window for Bermuda grass? I mean, the grass is literally turning brown, going dormant. But why apply anything then?
Right, so Bermuda, it's a warm season grass. It loves the heat. When those temperatures start to drop consistently, it slows right down, loses its color, goes dormant. It basically takes a long winter nap.
Stops growing, stops competing.
Exactly. It's checked out for the season. But, nature doesn't like empty space. While your Bermuda is sleeping, the conditions become absolutely perfect for a whole different group of weeds. The cool season annuals.
The opportunists.
The ultimate opportunists. They thrive in that cooler soil. So while the Bermuda is dormant and not defending its turf, these guys see their chance and move right in, especially in any thinner spots.
And there are some specific villains we're really targeting with this fall application, aren't there? The ones that just ruin the look in early spring.
Oh, yeah. The main bad guy is annual bluegrass. Everyone knows it as Poa Annua. That's the big one. But also broadleaf weeds like Henbit, Chickweed, maybe some bittercress.
Poa seems to be public enemy number one, though.
Yeah.
That patchy light green stuff against the dormant brown.
Yeah.
It drives homeowners crazy.
It really does. And Poa Annua is tricky because it starts to germinate when soil temperatures, not air temperatures, remember, drop down to around 70 degrees Fahrenheit and sort of hover there, trending cooler. So if you miss putting down that pre-emergent barrier before that happens, by the time you actually see those ugly light green clumps in, say, late winter or early spring, it's way too late.
The weed's already established.
Fully established. It's got roots. It's grown. And worse, it's probably getting ready to produce thousands, literally thousands of seeds for the next fall.
Ugh. And like you said, once it's visible, the pre-emergent we're talking about today is useless. It's already emerged.
Exactly. Then you're stuck looking at post-emergent herbicides, which are often more expensive, might require multiple sprays, and frankly, some of them can even stress or damage your dormant Bermuda if you're not careful with the application.
So prevention is way better than cure here. It sounds like this fall application isn't just nice to have, it's foundational.
It absolutely is foundational for a clean spring green up. If you skip it or mess up the timing, you're not just fighting the weeds you see now, you're letting them reload the seed bank in your soil for years to come. You're basically locking yourself into an ongoing battle.
Okay, the urgency is clear. Get the timing right, win the war. Which brings us to what you hinted at. The biggest mistake. People look at the calendar, right? Or they check the air temperature on their phone.
That's the classic fatal mistake. You're spot on. Those weed seeds down in the soil, they couldn't care less what the calendar says or if the air feels warm or cold today. Their trigger is soil temperature.
Right. Air temp can swing wildly, but soil temp is much more stable. And that's what the seed responds to.
Precisely. Air could be 85 one day, 55 the next. That doesn't matter much, an inch below ground.
So let's get specific. What is that magic number? If I go out and stick a soil thermometer in my lawn, what reading am I looking for?
Okay, this is probably the single most important piece of data for this whole strategy. You want to apply your pre-emergent when the soil temperatures, measured about 2 to 3 inches deep, are consistently hitting around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and crucially, trending downward.
70 and falling.
Yeah.
Got it.
But and this is the pro tip, don't wait until it's exactly 70 degrees. The ideal window is actually when temps are bouncing between, say, 70 and 75 degrees, and you see that consistent downward trend starting.
Interesting. Why the buffer? Why not wait for 70 on the dot?
Good question. It's because the granular product especially needs a little time to actually get watered in and dissolve properly to form that chemical barrier across the soil surface. That takes, maybe a day or two with watering.
Ah, so you need lead time for activation.
Exactly, you need that buffer. If you wait until the soil is already consistently at or below 70, say 69 degrees, by the time your barrier is fully active, some of those early Poa seeds might have already started germinating. Aiming for that 75 and falling zone ensures your shield is up before the main invasion starts.
That makes perfect sense. Build the wall before the attack begins. Okay, and because this is all soil temp driven, the actual date on the calendar is going to vary hugely depending on where you live.
Hugely. Someone down south might be looking at late September, maybe even early October. Folks in the transition zone, maybe mid-September. Up north, even earlier. You cannot just copy your neighbor's schedule or follow a generic online guide.
So you absolutely need local data. Where do people find reliable soil temps?
Most state university extension services have websites with agricultural weather data, including soil temperatures for various regions within the state. There are also some good independent weather websites that track it. A cheap soil thermometer is also a great investment. Just get local data. It's the only thing that matters for timing.
Okay, local soil temps, 70, 75, and falling. But there's another timing wrinkle, isn't there? These products don't last forever.
Right. That's a really important point. Even the best pre-emergents, the most common ones, typically give you maybe 8 to 12 weeks of solid protection.
And the cool season, especially further south, can easily last 5, even 6 months. From early fall germination right through late winter, so one application in September, you lose a big gap.
A huge gap. You're basically unprotected from maybe December onwards, right when some later germinating weeds might try their luck, or just before the spring green up.
So what's the solution?
The professional approach, and what's highly recommended for homeowners serious about control, is a split application strategy.
Okay, break that down.
Simple. You put down your first application at that primary window, 70, 75 degrees and falling. Use the label rate for your lawn size. That application targets the main Poa Annua germination wave. Then about 8 to 10 weeks, maybe late fall, early winter, depending on your timing, you put down a second, often slightly lighter application of the same product. This extends that protective barrier through the rest of the cool season, right up until the Bermuda starts waking up.
Continuous protection. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we've nailed the timing strategy. Let's talk products. I walk into the store, I see all these bags and bottles. What active ingredients should I look for that are known to be safe and effective on Bermuda grass, especially when it's going dormant?
Yeah, you've got a few excellent, reliable choices that are proven safe for established Bermuda. Number one, probably the most popular for fall use, is Prodiamine. You often see it sold under the brand name Barricade, but there are other generics. It's known for being very long-lasting and effective, especially on grassy weeds like Poa.
Okay, Prodiamine. What else?
Another really solid old-school option is pendimethalin. You might see it as pendulum or halts. It's been around a long time, very reliable, good broad-spectrum control.
Got it. Prodiamine, pendimethalin. And there's the third one people talk about, Dithiopyr, often sold as Dimension, and supposedly has a little extra trick up its sleeve.
It does. Dithiopyr is interesting because it has what they call limited early post-emergent control. Meaning if you were maybe just a touch late with your application, say you applied it and maybe some tiny Poa Annua seedlings had just sprouted, like they're only a few days old, barely visible, Dithiopyr actually has the ability to kill those extremely young, newly germinated weeds. Prodiamine and pendimethalin. They're strictly pre-emergent. They won't touch anything that's already broken ground, no matter how small.
So Dithiopyr offers a tiny bit of retroactive cleanup, a small insurance policy if your timing wasn't absolutely perfect.
Exactly. If you know you sometimes struggle to hit that window precisely, Dithiopyr gives you a little wiggle room on the back end for those very, very young weeds. Still best to get the timing right, but it's a nice bonus.
That's a great distinction. Okay, prodiamine, pendimethalin, Dithiopyr, those are the key ingredients. Now, before we even grab the spreader, we need to talk prep. The sources mention two big potential pitfalls, things you must consider before applying. One is about the lawn's condition itself, and the other involves, well, winter aesthetics.
Yes, absolutely critical prerequisites. Let's start with the lawn condition. Thatch.
That layer of dead grass and stuff.
Exactly. That spongy brown layer of dead stems, roots, and clippings sitting right on top of the soil. If you have an excessive thatch layer, say, more than ½ inch thick, that pre-emergent you spread, it's going to get trapped in that thatch.
So the chemical binds to the dead stuff instead of reaching the soil where the seeds are.
Precisely. The barrier forms up high, in the thatch, while the weed seeds down in the soil germinate happily underneath it, completely unaffected. It wastes the product and gives you zero control.
So if you have a thatch problem, you need to deal with that before the pre-emergent goes down. Aerating, dethatching.
Yes. Proper core aeration or mechanical dethatching needs to happen first to break up that layer and ensure the herbicide granules or spray can actually reach the soil surface. Don't apply pre-emergent onto thick thatch.
Crucial point. Okay, what's the second big warning? This one relates to overseeding. Lots of people, especially in areas where Bermuda goes totally brown, like to overseed with ryegrass for winter color.
Yes, and this is a huge EG conflict. We need to be crystal clear here. Pre-emergent herbicides do not know the difference between a weed seed and a desirable grass seed.
They just stop all seeds from rooting.
All seeds they come into contact with. They are equal opportunity germination blockers. So if you put down Prodiamine or Dithiopyr in September to stop Poa Annua, it will just as effectively stop your expensive ryegrass seed from establishing in October.
So applying fall pre-emergent basically means sacrificing winter ryegrass color. You can't have both at the same time.
Not effectively, no. If you apply pre-emergent, you typically need to wait a good 10 to 12 weeks, sometimes longer, depending on the product and rate, before you can even attempt to overseed, by which point it might be too late in the season for good ryegrass growth.
And the flip side.
If having that green winter lawn from ryegrass is your absolute top priority, you have to skip the main fall pre-emergent application. You'd overseed first, wait until the ryegrass is well established and mowed a couple of times, and then maybe consider a very carefully timed, possibly lighter pre-emergent application later in winter if needed, but you lose that prime POA prevention window.
So it's a trade-off. For people really focused on a pristine Bermuda lawn come spring, the advice seems to be prioritize the pre-emergent, skip the ryegrass overseed.
That's generally the consensus for serious Bermuda turf managers. Focus on preventing the weeds that will compete with your Bermuda when it wakes up. A clean spring green-up is often valued more than temporary winter color.
Makes sense. Okay, lawn is prepped, no thatch issues. We've decided against overseeding. We've chosen our products, say, Prodiamine granules. Now, how do we actually put it down right? Because just slinging it out there isn't good enough.
Definitely not. Application technique is critical. First, and this is non-negotiable, read.
The label.
Label is the law, right? Always. The product label tells you the exact rate to apply based on your specific lawn square footage. You must measure your lawn area accurately and calibrate your spreader to deliver that precise amount. Don't guess. More is not better.
Why not? Won't more just kill weeds better?
No.
No.
Over-applying can actually injure your dormant Bermuda, potentially causing root damage or a stunted green-up in the spring. Plus, it's wasteful and environmentally irresponsible. Stick strictly to the label rate for your grass type.
Okay, calibrated spreader, correct rate. How do we ensure we cover the whole lawn evenly? Patchy application means patchy protection, I assume.
Absolutely. Gaps in the barrier are invitations for weeds. Use a broadcast spreader, not a drop spreader, for better overlap. The best technique is often the half-rate overlap method.
How does that work?
You set your spreader to apply half the recommended rate, then you walk your entire lawn applying that half rate, say, in a north-south pattern. Then you apply the other half of the rate walking perpendicular in an east-west pattern.
Ah, like a grid. That ensures double coverage and minimizes any potential skips or light spots from wheel tracks or uneven walking speed.
Exactly. It takes a little longer, but it guarantees much more uniform coverage, which is essential for that invisible barrier to be effective everywhere.
Smart. Okay, spreader calibrated, rate set, applied evenly. Are we done? Can we put the spreader away?
Not quite. There's one final, absolutely critical step that activates the whole thing, and it's where a lot of DIY applications fail.
Ah, the watering in part.
The watering in part, you must get water on that application. The pre-emergent granules need to dissolve and move off the leaf blades or granule surface down into that top layer of soil where the seeds are.
How much water are we talking?
Typically about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of water, either from rainfall or irrigation. Enough to wash the product into the soil, but not so much that you create runoff.
And timing is important here too, right? We can't just apply it and hope for rain next week.
No, definitely not. You really want that water activation to happen within about 24 to 48 hours of application.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate based on what I've read. What if I apply it on a sunny afternoon and the forecast says rain, but not for 3 or 4 days? Is the product just degrading out there? How crucial is that 24, 48-hour window?
That's a really practical question. It is pretty crucial. While the product won't become instantly useless if it sits dry for 3 or 4 days, its effectiveness definitely starts to decrease. Some active ingredients can be broken down by sunlight. That's called photodegradation. Others can just get tied up on the surface.
So you're losing potency the longer it sits dry.
You are. You're not getting the full benefit of what you paid for and applied. The ideal scenario, the absolute best practice, is to apply it right before a predicted rain event, that 1/4 to 1/2 inch kind of rain, or to follow up your application immediately with your irrigation system. Get it watered in promptly.
Got it. Within 48 hours, max, ideally sooner. Okay, that covers the how-to. Let's zoom out again. Think long-term strategy. This fall application. It's not a one-off fix, is it? It's part of a bigger picture.
Absolutely. This fall, pre-emergent targeting cool season weeds like Poa is just one pillar. You'll have another critical pre-emergent window in the spring, usually timed before soil temps hit 55 degrees consistently, to target summer annual weeds like crabgrass. It's a year-round management plan.
Fall targets winter weeds, spring targets summer weeds. Makes sense. But why is consistency with this fall application year after year so important for long-term success?
It comes down to something called the weed seed bank.
The reservoir of dormant seeds in the soil.
Exactly. Think of your soil having this massive underground inventory of weed seeds, just waiting for the right conditions. Every time a weed, especially a prolific seeder like Poa Annua, manages to grow and mature, it dumps thousands, maybe tens of thousands of new seeds back into that bank.
It's like making deposits into a weed savings account you don't want.
Perfect analogy. It just builds and builds over time. But when you consistently apply pre-emergent correctly every fall, you prevent those weeds from germinating. You stop them from making those seed deposits.
You're starving the bank.
You're starving the bank. You're depleting that reservoir year after year. After maybe 3, 4, 5 years of consistent, effective fall pre-emergent use, the overall number of viable weed seeds in your soil dramatically decreases. Which means less weed pressure overall. Your Bermuda has less competition when it greens up. The lawn naturally becomes thicker and healthier because it's not constantly fighting off invaders. Your future self will thank you for the consistency now.
That's the real power of prevention, isn't it? It's not just fighting this year's battle, it's winning the long war by reducing future battles.
Right.
It turns a reactive chore into a proactive investment.
Beautifully put. That's exactly the mindset.
Okay, let's quickly recap the absolute must-dos for the listener ready to take action this fall. First, timing. Watch the soil temperature, not the air. Aim for that 70-75 degree range and make sure it's consistently trending down.
Critically important. Get local soil temp data.
Second, product choice. Pick something proven safe for Bermuda, like Prodiamine, pendimethalin, or Dithiopyr if you want that little post-emergent kick.
And check the label rates carefully.
Third, preparation and application.
Oh.
Deal with any thatch before you apply. Use a calibrated broadcast spreader for even coverage, maybe using that half-rate crosshatch pattern.
Don't eyeball it and avoid overseeding conflicts.
And finally, activation. Water it in. About 1/4 to 1/2 inch of water within 24 to 48 hours is essential to get that barrier working in the soil.
Don't skip that final step. It makes all the difference.
Do those things right, and that preventative shield you put down now, it's your guarantee for a much cleaner, much more satisfying spring green-up when your Bermuda wakes from its winter sleep.
It really sets the stage for a great-looking lawn all next summer, giving your Bermuda a huge head start without all that weed competition.
Right. So here's the final thought we want to leave you with, something to really chew on. This consistent fall pre-emergent strategy.
Right.
It's not just about dodging Poa Annua next March. It is, quite literally, the most powerful tool you have to reduce the amount of weeds you'll be dealing with 5 years from now.
Thinking long-term.
Exactly. You have the knowledge now. You can fundamentally change the weed pressure in your lawn over time, making future lawn care significantly easier. So the real question is, what weed cycle are you finally going to break this fall? Go find that soil thermometer.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.